this month is Black History Month, and we wanted to do something a bit different, which is a little bit more personal, I suppose, for the club. I think probably, as you will well know, we're really proud of being a diverse club. It's something that we really, really want to champion and support, especially for not just obviously like at NSL level, but for all the girls and boys as well, coming through the ranks at junior levels that we see coming in. I think they really love the fact they can look at our team and go, oh, I see someone like me. And obviously you're a huge part of that. So if possible, would you be able to just give me like a little introduction about who you are and what you do and when you sort of started?
Right, so obviously I'm Vivian. I started netball really way back in my school days.
Okay.
And just continued, but then, circumstances, I couldn't play anymore. So my daughter started playing.
Nice.
So I still enjoyed it through her. So to be quite honest, I'm 57 this year, so I've been involved in netball or know about netball for quite a long while. I obviously very good friends of Lisa.
Yeah.
And obviously, got to know Sam on a kind of a better level. And Fiona, I used to go to school with Fiona.
No way. Wow, what a small world.
So it's all kind of, just kind of snowballed. I used to kind of just do bits and pieces with Lisa for polls, just to help her out here and there.
Yeah.
And then I think Sam approached me about, if I could be a host, for the players.
Yeah.
I was a little bit, first of all, because I'm just I really like my own space. I'm very particular about, who comes into my space.
Yeah.
But, I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. So the first year I did it, oh God, I can't remember the year it was, but I think it was just before lockdown. I had Chiara.
Yeah, Semple.
Yeah, and Adine Thomas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had those two. And obviously then I guess, COVID hit and nothing happened. And then last year I had Nicole. Oh my God, Nicole. I love Nicole.
Yeah, we love Nicole. So lovely.
Yeah, Nicole Chiara and Adine fit right in. But Nicole is just like Nicole has been living with me all her life.
Oh.
She really slotted in, and then her husband, Tommy, came, and it was so beautiful. And I'd said after Chiara and Nadine, I wasn't going to do it again.
It's a big commitment. It's a huge commitment.
It really is. And I've got a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
She's kind of, she's a little bit she's like her own space, everything else like that. But because she was away at uni, I thought, okay, I'll just use her room. And, she got really well with Chiara, she got really well with Adine, but, Nicole and her just bonded.
Oh, that's so special.
I also had my little 15-year-old, 14 at the time, cousin that was living with me, and she was a bit of a handful, but Nicole and Tommy was so amazing with her. Honestly. And it was just really like living with someone from your own family.
Wow, okay.
Nobody bawled about, I did this last time. Everyone just chipped in.
Yeah.
The house ran like clockwork.
Wow.
Everybody cooked. They took it in turn to cook. Everyone took it in turn to clean. We all used to have like movie nights, and so it was really amazing. And so when Sam approached me again to do it this time, I thought, oh God, because obviously Nicole's not coming back. Nicole's sharing with somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think after Nicole, I was a little bit worried about, am I going to get someone like her?
Yeah, because if it went so well, you're almost like, is it going to be the same if I get somebody different?
I was really worried. I was really worried about doing it. But then I spoke to Tyler.
Yes.
And I kind of got the same vibe from her.
She's coming all the way from Australia.
Yeah, so, there we go again. I'm back at it again this year.
You can't stay away.
So I'm just looking forward to it because she seems really nice. I think her boyfriend's coming again. So again, it's another dynamic to look at, But yeah, I kind of really now I must say I do enjoy it now.
Yeah, well, you're part of the family now.
Yeah, well...
That's it.
And the girls that I've had, I've been really, really lucky.
Yeah.
I've been really, really lucky. So I know there's never a guarantee, but, if I can keep getting girls like that, I'll keep doing it. But
that's amazing.
So you take one bad, experience for you to say, I'm done. But so far, so good. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. I'd like to think all of the girls that we have on our teams are good girls. So, I think you're in safe hands there. So
yeah, and then my daughter went to school with Liv.
Oh, wow.
We knew from when my daughter was playing, at club level and at county level. So, it's kind of... the team is people that we kind of know.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, so briefly you touched on the fact you went to school with Fiona. Can't believe that. And you played netball at school. How would you sort of describe your experience, I suppose, of playing netball, being like one of maybe fewer black players than we see nowadays? How would you sort of describe your experience?
No, well, I can't say I've ever had a bad experience whilst playing netball. I've always had, because I used to kind of train with, when Fiona was with England, with Pat Meadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to train with them sometimes.
Wow.
So it's kind of, I had kind of a good... I don't know. My experience has been good. I can't really say I've had bad experience.
No, that's great. So it was like quite a good.
Back in those days, if there were many black players, there weren't that many black players.
I think the landscape has definitely changed in terms of that exposure. But you say it was a good experience, I suppose. Then for you, that's great, and it was
a good experience. So I can't ever think of a time that I've had any bad experiences in sports, because typically I was very sporty.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of sports, netball included.
Yeah.
And it's always been good for me.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's brilliant. And then nowadays, obviously, you said your daughter was a player and she's played at club level for me and like, so how would you sort of how would you describe like the differences maybe between your experience and like your daughter's experience?
Right. So I think nowadays a lot of I think it's a little bit different. I think it's a little bit harder for the black players.
Okay.
I think. In a sense that a lot of them feel that even if they've got the potential, very few make it.
Yeah.
And it's about, I think, I heard a lot of young black girls talking, it's about if your face fits or if they like you and who you know. And it's a shame to hear that.
It is.
I've just recently heard that same story from some young black player, talented black player. But it just feels that, they're not getting that same... I don't know.
Like opportunity, maybe?
Opportunities, being knocked back because... And this whole restructure don't help.
Yeah.
It don't help. But, I can see that Pulse is kind of trying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
But it needs more than one club to kind of,
Yeah, I agree. Oh, that's just... It's sad when you hear things like that because I think, if you're kind of a black player or from another ethnic minority that wants to really thrive and be successful, a lot of, you're never going to think, because of my difference, it's going to hold me back. You never really think that. And until it happens and until you're faced with that reality, it is actually something that I think can be quite shocking.
And let's face it, it's not just in netball.
No, it's not. Really. It's not. You're right.
It's not just in netball. So we can't just blame it all on netball. I think it's across all sports. But I think more and more you are starting to see more and more black faces in sports.
Yeah.
You know, I always say that, oh my God, this is kind of a little bit different, but we never see many black faces on commercials.
Well, yeah, no, this is it. So you can have lots of players, but whether they get put, let's say, on the front of the poster.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different thing.
You know? And now we're seeing a lot more, be all that you know, these players now that we've seen in the forefront are very, very talented. And that makes me feel, honestly, as a black person, every time I see me or someone like Liv or, you know, honestly, it just makes me feel so proud.
Yeah.
To see that somebody like me, as you say, and also, again, I think I had a lot of problems growing up because I kind of don't look the typical black person. Like, I'm a mixed race, from a mixed race heritage. So I found it very difficult also because the black girls used to think that I used to get more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like favourable treatment.
Favoritism, because I was a little bit lighter or a bit, you know. So it also has its ups and downs, not just kind of in a wider sense that, you know, the lighter skin or the darker skin always still look at it in their own forefront. So it's coming from all angles, not just from white against black, or, you know, it's still black against black, be it different shades of black.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I suppose it's that colorism.
Yeah, that's right. And that's exactly what it is, colorism.
Yeah.
You know? And that's from I'm going to say this in a way that you're probably not like, it's from your own people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it goes, it's just, honestly, it goes all around. So we've got to be so careful and not just pinpoint it on, it's because of this or because of that. It's just, you know, it's everyone. Everyone has to take responsibility, I think. You know.
No, I'm so glad you've said that. I think a lot of people maybe think that, like you say, it can be quite sort of one-sided or it's a lot narrow. The issue is a lot more narrow than it actually is, but it does, you know, it affects communities within communities, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that's key, is to sort of explore, like, where, you know, for, you know, it's a bit like saying, like, one black person represents all black people. That isn't the case, you know?
Exactly.
And it's about splitting out, you know, where there are sort of like different crossovers between different communities and on what level, like, you know, to see Fumi and Liv is, I think, amazing, because they are talented individuals. I think, like, being black is part of their identity. I'm speaking for them, obviously, you know, it's up to them how they sort of describe it, but you know, for them as well, it's probably very deeply personal to them, and how they're received and how they interact with that is something that's very personal and up to them, and not up to anyone else to sort of, you know, define and limit, because it is completely up to them.
That's right. And what I think also, what we don't look at, and this goes for both black and white communities, is how hard does that person work to get where they're at.
Yeah.
We don't think about that. You know, has the other black person worked as hard as this black person?
Yeah.
Sometimes we overlook that a great deal.
Yeah.
You know, and then it turns into, it's because she's so much more liked by the person who's choosing or whatever. But, you know, we have to look at about the work that's put in to be where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. But in terms of, I suppose, for you, what being black means and kind of your identity, could you like touch on that a bit, and how it sort of, because I mean, I'm of Indian origin, for example, and like, to be honest with you, day to day, I don't think about it. You know, I just get on with my life and stuff. But when there are certain events or there's representation, like, for example, in sport or in another sort of, you know, publicity area, I do feel quite aware of it. So for you, you know, in a netball context, but also in a wider context. You know, how would you say you feel about being a black woman?
Well, first and foremost, I'm very proud of who I am and where I'm from.
Yeah.
You know,
where are you from?
So it's like really, I'm so mixed. It's so even funny. So I was born in Jamaica. But my mum is half Scottish and half Jamaican Indian.
Oh, wow.
And my dad is half Irish and half Jamaican.
Oh, my goodness.
So this is going to sound so cliche. I have never really been brought up to look at colour.
Yeah.
Until it faces me.
Yeah.
You know? And then my response will be, well, to be quite honest, I see neither black nor white. I just see a person, and that's how I brought my daughter up to be.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't always work like that. But I will say, and a lot of people will disagree with me when I say this, including my daughter, I am a proud black woman. And then they will say, but you're not exactly black, you know.
but that's how you identify. I think that's totally valid, you know.
Exactly. So I am proud to be black. I'm proud of my heritage. I'm even prouder when I see a black person achieving way beyond what, you know, is expected.
Yes.
And I'm proud to see a black person representing sports, any type of sports. So, yeah.
Wow,
you know.
that is a very cool mix. I've never heard of like so many different like ethnic origins and stuff. That's really cool. So just to, I suppose, finish off, obviously you're being a host again, can't believe it, for Tyler when she comes over. What are you excited about, I suppose, not just for Pulse as a whole, but for their up and coming black players? For me, Liv, Hallie, and then we've got loads coming through the ranks as well. What excites you most about that prospect?
Well, it's exciting to see where they've come from.
Yeah.
And where they're going. Especially Fumi. Oh my God, Fumi she was just like all arms and legs. She didn't know how good she was.
She's very humble, very.
As a young player, she was just honestly, we was thinking, oh my God, could she ever stand up? You know? And she just didn't know how good she was, and she still don't know how good she is. She's so humble, and it excites me to see where they're going.
Yeah.
I really want to see both of them go overseas, to be quite honest. Where their potential can be.
You know what? Yeah, totally valid. Absolutely. Yeah, you want to see them thrive. That's what you want.
Exactly. It will be sad to lose them here because, you know, but then, you know, I just feel that they will be tied. Their full potential wouldn't be explored.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
They did for a couple of years and then come back.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see how they've grown.
Spread their wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just pleased for them and proud of them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because especially when you know them as well, I think that really adds a level of of investment, you know, in terms of watching them succeed.
You know.
Oh, well, thank you for your time, Viv.